Afternoon all. How's everybody doing? Hi Tomasini. Wow, yen's been busy this morning, isn't it? Crazy moves. Told you there might be some ADR hits today. Nothing much else has moved though. Crazy yen moves. Is anybody long on the yen at the minute, or long stuff against the yen at the minute? If so, hope you held it. Big moves. So pound yen is still pushing low. We're up to 175 ADR on that at the minute. US dollar yen. My indicator doesn't even go that high. What are we? So it's got to be 250, 275 ADR. Crazy moves. So yeah, big ones. US dollar yen. So basically these are all yen pairs. US dollar yen, 125 on euro pound. We've got some movement going on the pound at the minute. Pound's having a little bit of a push. Euro pound is getting hammered into the floor, down at 125 ADR. Didn't manage to get any shorts on that, unfortunately, but this is why I wanted to leave today and have a bit of a embed and see what happens with the market, because you've got to give it a bit of time to normalize after a break like this. So we'll quickly run through the Aussies, the yens. Just have a look at them all. So Aussie dollar yen. We're pushing up towards yesterday's high. Lovely V-shaped recovery on that one. But it is showing signs of petering out now. We are getting a nice bearish wick to the high. We've just completed this gap on M15. So we've come back up. This is where all the sellers started to jump in. As I said, this is really where the move started here in the London session yesterday. But we're just pulling up into this gap. which has been filled completely now. So yeah, Aussie dollar yen, nice hit, 125 ADR. CAD yen, again, also up to 150 ADR. This has made new highs. So pushing up into, potentially up into this really old gap up here. It's really old. So just coming up to new old highs at the moment here. Which is a good level of support and resistance. So we are approaching a level where likely we are going to get some kind of pullback starting very, very soon on CAD yen. Swiss yen, massive, massive movement on this one. Evil Genki, deep in the SH1T for months short on US dollar yen, trying to get out with some advanced drawdown control this week as I'm home from work. Yeah, US dollar yen. I wouldn't have been. You're probably wrong direction on US dollar, but it depends when you got into it. Because obviously we've had some movement on US dollar yen, but we've been long on the US dollar yen since September. So shouldn't really be shorting US dollar yen. But anyway, sometimes we do get in the wrong way and we have to deal with it. Swiss yen, yeah, very nice move, strong move up on the Swissy. All these pairs basically that you're seeing push at the moment with these yens are all extremely exhausted now. So they are due very, very nice pullbacks. So where you're seeing all this massive movement to the upside, get a fib on it. Look for where we're likely to be retracing to on all of these. So look for shallow pullback to the 38, medium 50, deep pullback into the 61. Assume that we are going to get continued yen weakness. This is where we should be looking to pull back into. So you can either wait for it to get down here and start longing it, or play the mean reversion back into these levels. At the moment, I would just kind of steer clear. Like I said this morning, just want to sit on the sidelines and watch for the first sort of day or two, ideally, rather than taking any positions in anything, just to see what the market is up to. But these are so tempting, all of these yens. When we get these massive extensions, the 200s, 175s, these will reverse. They will have a profit take. Everybody that is bought on this today, so since the Asian Open, every single person that has, or I say person, institution, whoever's involved in the market, who's hit the buy button here, has got to get out of their positions. To get out of their positions, they've got to hit the sell button. So this lot have not sold yet today. There's been a little profit take in the middle at the Asian session, but it's very, very, very small. So the entire London session, we've had nothing, no profit take whatsoever. So all these buyers have got to turn into sellers at some point, very, very, very soon. And as soon as that selling starts to kick in, market sentiment will just change and everybody will jump on board and all the sellers will pile in wanting to profit on the reversal. So it's all going to start at some point soon. So looking at low time frames, look for reversal alerts. You wouldn't have had one yet today, but as soon as you get a reversal alert on it, potentially is the start of the down moves on these. So Swissie yen massively extended, CAD yen same story. Huge extension, just not had any let up at all in the last hour or so on that one. Euro yen, big extension, just pulled straight back into the support rectangle and it's bouncing off, doing its job. So no reversal alert on that one as yet either. Pound yen off to the moon, 175 ADR now. Again, no reversal alerts on this one, just waiting for some kind of bearish price action to kick in. Lower time frames, you may have got one. No, it's not been one all day. Crazy. So yeah, still going. So shouldn't be in any of these short just yet. US dollar yen. These have all got such a long way to drop, but there's some real consolidation going in at the moment on the US dollar yen and a nice big bearish move. So Looks like that one's starting to roll over potentially. But if you look at the Dixie today, Dixie's not, it's had a bit of a push in London, but nowhere near. So this is all yen strength, weakness that we're seeing here. Everything is just being absolutely stonking over the yen at the minute, but this tends to happen. So yeah, all good reversal opportunities. The others, we've got New Zealand dollar yen as well. That one's obviously pushed up. We're pushing up into the highs here. This gap, which has now been filled really, missed it by a pip basically, but nice V-shaped recovery going up into there. So that one again is getting very, very extended. Not as good as the rest at the moment. And pound odd is the other. So the ones that aren't yen related. Pound odd, we've got hit to the upside. This is a short against a short. So we are just taking out the liquidity from yesterday's high at the moment. We haven't had a reversal as yet. M5 just got one on M5. So on the lower time frame, this is consolidating nicely, ready for a potential drop. So that's not a bad looking one for reversal as well. Euro Swiss, that's hit to the downside. Don't want to be taking longs on the euro. Same as these others. Euro pound, do not want to be taking longs on the euro pound. Lovely 3-bar reversal going in off 125 ADR though on euro pound there, but don't want to long the euro. That's it. So yeah, so that's everything we've got. Mainly yen based. Stupid movements on everything against the yen today, but as I say, I'm just kind of sitting on the sidelines waiting for them to shake out their orders, because there's a lot of liquidity needs to go into the market today. There'll be a lot of pent up and built up orders waiting to go in, and this is basically what we're seeing, and it seems to be all yen related today. ADR hits. 4 hour has lit up like a Christmas tree, and so is the hourly. So we'll have a look at these. There's a few hit on this. Mainly US dollar yen, which is pretty obvious. Massively extended now on this one. So US dollar yen on the 4 hour. We are up to 85. As you can see, we haven't been up at this high, this much strength US dollar for quite a long time. If we pull back out, last time we were up at these levels was here back in October. So we had a really, really good strong push. Again, this was yen weakness, took us up to this level. So we initially got extended to this level sort of around here. We had a consolidation for a few days, had another leg push up, and then just a consolidation and drop. So again, massively extended, ready for a pullback. Very easily pull back into the 24 here, anywhere down to these sorts of levels. Just got to be careful of this level here. When we get the pullback on it, we might see the bounce from there, but it's all going to depend on the yen and what happens with the yen over the next few days. So that's looking really nice, but obviously it's counter trend, counter the way I want to trade it. I want to be looking for longs on it. New Zealand dollar CAD has hit. We just started to get extended on the 4 hour on this one. Again, New Zealand dollar, we've just flipped short on the COT report. Canadian dollar is already a short, so difficult to sort of read this one. We're just coming out of a big consolidation down here. Can't really tell which direction this one's going to go yet, and it's only just got extended. But if we get some decent extension back down into this area here, this massive propulsion candle, potentially that is going to act as a support. There'll be a lot of buyers in here looking to protect their positions if they haven't exited already. So we'll see what the reaction is when we get back down into there. By the time we do, we'll be very nicely extended on the RSI and be looking for decent pop. Pound New Zealand. So this is, remember, these are the ones I said about this morning. They were extended. It's just got obviously extended again on this massive push that we've had. So yeah, very, very, very nice movement on the pound. These are the levels we've got to be aware of. So if it continues to push up to that area, that's where I'll be starting to look for a reaction. It's very, very tired though at the moment, so not really quite sure we should be trying to long it, obviously. But this is an ADR hit today. Nice M pattern going in, just taking out the liquidities on the highs there. So potentially nice short opportunity on that one. Pound yen, we know about. We've just looked at that one. Same extension on the hourly. Obviously, this is going to be massively extended on the hourly. This is the one that's been embedded. This is continuing to move. So just do not get in the front of the yen until we see some sign of weakness. If you want to get in now, it is obviously absolutely shot. But look at the push that we had with the light liquidity just before Christmas. So this is the week before Christmas here. And we had this nice big push, took us up to RSI extension just before Christmas. And since then, it has not looked back. And this is just an extension of that. But we are now 760. We are 7 ADR push to the upside. If you look at this on the daily, this thing is screaming. And look how far we screamed and what happened after we screamed that high last time. It is massively due a drop. And obviously we've got some US dollar news which could quite easily affect the yen as well, which is coming up tomorrow. 3 o'clock this afternoon as well. We've got some movement. So big potential drop on the pound yen. Pound odd, same thing. Nicely extended. Nice rejections off of ADR on that one. This is a short against a short. So not really got any directional bias on it, but anything that's moved this far has got to have a profit take at some point. Euro pound hit to the downside, looking for shorts on that one, so that's no use. Swiss yen, again, potentially nice little short. I'm always more inclined to long the Swissy than short it, and especially after a move like that. These are all going to fade at some point. It's whether or not they're going to fade today, or whether we're going to get a couple of continuation days of weakness on the yen. Don't really want to jump into anything that potentially could be pushing for a couple of days, but these are all so exhausted. If you're going to get in on something at the moment, US dollar yen or the pound yen are the ones to do it on. Potentially pound New Zealand as well. But pound New Zealand's just starting to roll over now, but pound yen's probably my favourite of the lot. And CAD yen, still pushing hard. Again, you're not going to get into any of these until you get a reversal alert, and you're not getting reversal alerts because there's just no weakness. So these are all poised still. Same story as this morning. We looked at these this morning. They were ready to pop. They're still going. So just wait. And on the hourlies, CAD yen and Swiss yen, really nicely extended on this one. Had a little bit of a profit take at the end of the Asian session. Not a lot. It's not a proper pullback. So that was the move. We pulled back, nowhere basically. So this is still the same move pushing at the minute. We're just coming up into this nice area on the CAD yen, potentially for a reversal. So look for a pullback on that one at some point. Getting in probably on M5. And obviously Swiss yen, 200% ADR. So yeah, ADR tells the story today. It's all about the yen. Euro pound obviously is extended to the wrong side. The rest is all really pound and yen based. So really good movements. I was flat before Christmas. So I've got nothing on, so couldn't take advantage of any of those. But the only thing I would have been on really there would be the US dollar yen, because that was the only bias I was interested in before Christmas. But hey ho. So Dixie today, we've had a little bit of a push up from the Asian highs. Nothing particularly exciting. We've just come and taken the liquidity here from this level. So we'll see what happens this afternoon. So anybody that jumped in short there, if anybody was trading between Christmas, that was the move that we had between Christmas and New Year. All those shorts will have had their stops up there. Anybody playing breakouts would have had their pending orders up there to go long. And this is where we've got the initial propulsion moves that started this down move. So this looks like a perfect spot for a pullback. And obviously we've got this massive movement from yesterday, which is highly likely to get faded. So already started that one on the Dixie. But we've got loads and loads of news coming up. So again, it's just such a dangerous week to trade this week, just because of the potential movements we're going to get with all the news that we got coming up. So S&P, we've pushed, made new highs, new all-time highs. At the moment, London just took it up to new all-time highs, but we haven't really gone anywhere further. So interesting to see what New York's going to make of today. We have just taken out the highs of the last week. Quite often when we make new highs, we grind. So you see, here's an example here. There's loads of examples around, but I mean, as soon as you start to make new highs, the ADR tightens. So we get tightened ranges, which basically grind up and grind up and grind up. Then we get these big down days, which are the pullback profit takes on the moves. So basically the market participants pile into their long positions and then profit take, pile into their longs, profit take, pile in, profit take, pile in, profit take. Loads of value down there to scale in for a big move, profit take. Same thing. We are extended. So there is a high probability of a pullback, but it is the new year. So we need to just wait and see what happens with it. At the moment, I've just got the one position long on this at the minute. But I will be watching this afternoon and potentially scaling into some new positions further down. So strategy really is to look for the volume. So for those guys that know about volume profile, you don't get volume profile in Forex. You only get volume profile in futures because it's the only place with a centralized exchange. So you can only really trade volumes where you've got a centralized exchange where you can actually see what the volumes are. But if you had a volume profile on this chart here, what you would see is loads of volume here and a point of control there where the move happened. You'd see a volume spike there, you'd see a volume spike there, you'd see a volume spike there. So when in MT4, if we're using the gap indicator, we don't really need a volume profile because what happens is volume is accumulated and then you have an expansion out of volume, and that creates propulsion candles, which creates gaps. So we can see where the volume is because the volume is always going to be just before the gap is formed. So we can see here we had an accumulation, there would have been a load of volume there, and then we had an expansion to the downside. So this gap, so we can see where the volume is. And the idea of volume profile when you're trading volume profile is you look for the spikes in the volume profile and the points of control, and you use those as areas for buying. So these gaps here work in exactly the same way for us in MT4. So strategy is look for areas where we've had lots of buyers coming in and assume that those buyers are going to protect those zones, and we should see bounces off of them. So the way that I trade them as a position trader is I scale in when we get down to these zones and wait for a correction and then get out of the positions on a correction. But when we are this extended with this much consolidation, there is likely to be a very large explosion in one way or the other. We don't know which way it's going to go today. So not so much going to sit on the sidelines, but going to watch eagerly what happens this afternoon and look for areas to scale in long, basically, as we're pulling back. But what I don't want to do is in scaling at every level, basically, because there is a chance, obviously, of having a big, strong, 200 ADR pullback at some point soon, just purely because of the push that we've had. This is the Santa rally, and if you look at it on H4, you get these big, strong moves. But what I do is scale in on these pullbacks. So I'll be scaling in, exiting, scaling in, exiting. So I'll get into multiple positions and wait for the exit. So you can see exactly here, you can see what I did. Yeah, exit. So exit on these moves. And we're looking for either a bounce off the 24 or a bounce off the 72. So some kind of pullback is what I'm looking for today. Be looking to scale in somewhere around that area. But equally, if it just decides it wants to do that today, that's fine, because I've got a position on already. So we'll see what happens. Anybody got any other currencies they want to look at? Any pairs they want to look at? Anybody in any positions? Anybody get into anything this morning? Just going to put some just some levels on the chart. Levels of interest in this consolidation, basically. But we have made a new high, and we are holding it at the moment. So who knows? We may well get a push. But we've got 6 minutes to the open. So how was everybody's Christmas? Anybody catch COVID over Christmas? I've got so many people I know that friends and family and things caught it over Christmas. It's like the surge of COVID. Thankfully, though, I haven't had it and none of my family has yet. So been very, very lucky. Got into Euro New Zealand, which is developing nicely. Yeah, cool. Yeah, it's a good trade. Nice liquidity run above the Asian high. Still in this consolidation though at the moment. We need to get a break at some point, one way or the other. But yeah, it's a good trade. Nice and excuse me, nice and easy to scale into as well. You got this obvious range here on Euro New Zealand. We are down towards the lower end of it. I'd much rather be getting into it up at these higher areas. This is the one I've got the control candle on for the daily. So I'd much rather be scaling into it up here, but there's every chance this thing's just going to collapse to the downside at some point. So if you get in here and you just scale in with a couple of positions, I mean, what is it to the top? 170. So it's 1.5 ADR up to these highs roughly. You're only going to get into a couple of positions on it, aren't you? US Tech. NASDAQ. NASDAQ's the same as the S&P. You're short on it, are you? You mean NASDAQ by US Tech? US 100? NAS? I don't know why they just don't have one name for stuff. It'd be much easier, wouldn't it? NQ? QQQ? What do you want to call it? It's all the same thing. But this is the same as the S&P. So I only trade one or the other. But yeah, I mean, same story with this. Be looking for potentially a drop. But we'll see. Carbon's done well for you today. You're trading carbon. Wow. I've never traded carbon. Didn't even know you could trade carbon. What's the ticker for carbon? Don't think I've got carbon. What is it, under a metal? It's a commodity, I suppose. Don't have carbon. Yeah, so the NAS basically I'll be looking for the same thing. Potentially for shorts. But again, it's very, very difficult today. It's really a sit back and watch day. And see what happens. Jacob's just got into a US dollar yen short. Yeah. Yeah, it's starting to roll over. We've really topped out on the US dollar yen. It's got a lot of potential downside on that. The thing is, what you'll find is with the US dollar as well, the US dollar will quite often go inverse to the S&P. So if we get a big, strong push down on S&P today, we may well get a push on the Dixie. We got the news at 3 o'clock this afternoon. We've got PMI. And jolts, which ignore that. It's the PMI that makes the movement. So we may well see some movement on PMI this afternoon, 3 o'clock. So we'll keep an eye on that when it kicks in. Andy, just back from Lapland. So far free from COVID. Yeah, not looking to open any trades till next week. Good plan. Yeah, it's just you just got to be so careful this week. If you're trading with stop loss, it's not an issue. You can get in any time you like. But if you're taking positions and you're looking to take a longer term view in the market, you can easily get caught on some squeezes. And the squeezes tend to happen when there's a backlog of orders or there's light liquidity, and we're coming out of a light liquidity period into a potential massive amount of orders. So having no position is a good position to be in a lot of the time. So right, so we've got 1 minute to the open. We'll see what the initial movement is on the S&P. So the market's open now. So let's see if we get a flush. Looks like we're getting a flush to start off with out of the lows. Just zoom out on that. So initially, I've got the ADR indicator on my chart as well, but it's not unusual for us to have multiple down days after we've had a big strong push like this. As you can see here, we get quite often a down day, a little bit of a pullback, down day. We had a big strong pullback on that down day, and then we ended up closing. Then we had a big push again. So the market is always trying to push. So even if we do get a down day and you scale in on that down day, normally the next day you'll find an exit. So I would expect us to have a couple of down days after this move. But, you know, it is the first proper trading day of the year, coming out of a bank holiday as well. So we're better off today just kind of getting in very nice and spaced out. If you're going to position trade, get in nicely spaced apart. We just had ADR, CAD yen, New Zealand yen, Euro CAD. More ADR hits on the yen. So let's have a quick look at what the Dixie's doing. Not a lot. Yeah, it's a good saying that, D. I'd rather be out wishing I was in than wishing I was out. Yeah, people forget there's 3 positions in the market: long, short, and flat. Flat is a lot of the time best position to be in. If you're unsure, don't get in just because you want to be in. Get in when you're sure you've got a decent trade, rather than just taking a position for taking a position's sake. There's plenty of opportunities out there every day, but we tend to want to just jump in, don't we? I mean, that's just human nature, unfortunately. So not got any movement really at the moment. Just sitting in consolidation at the minute. Got 2 minutes to the 5-minute opening range. It's complete. It's looking fairly bullish at the minute. I wouldn't be surprised if we try and push a new high today, but whether there's enough momentum to actually take it higher, I'd be very surprised after this move. Nasdaq's flushing. Obviously, the Nas makes up quite a big chunk of the S&P, so you'll usually see these go in tandem together. Obviously, interesting. We've got a complete split at the moment on the two. One of them is going to catch up with the other one in a minute. So Nas is just flushing out the lows of London. So anybody that's got long in the London session will have their stops under here. All the breakout traders will be entering their pending orders below the London session. So just grabbed all that liquidity. Looks like we're going to go long at the moment based on the S&P. S&P's rejecting the current highs. Swissy yen has just hit its weekly range already. Wow. Okay, Swissy yen has hit its weekly range in a day. Crazy. Okay, Nas is still flushing out nicely. So S&P's just taken out that gap. It's following the Nas down. A lot of indecision so far. S&P is just trying to make new highs. It's getting rejected constantly at these highs. Swissy hasn't relented for some time now, at least against these weaker currencies now. The Swissy will always be strong against a weak currency because the Swissy has money piled into it constantly. It's one of the major banking sectors, so you will get money piled through the Swissy, and as money goes into the Swissy, any weak currency is going to drop against it. You know, the Swissy has these big pushes and surges, so which is why I'm always wanting to be long on the Swissy regardless of what the COT says. That's why I don't pay any attention to the COT report for the Swissy, because money's pumped in and pulled out of it so much. I'd rather be long on it because you tend to get the push where money's pumped in, and then obviously you expect money to come back out of it. So I'd rather be long because the longs tend to be really strong on the Swissy. You can tell that by the Euro Swiss. I mean, you look at the Euro Swiss, you can see how it's been dumped. Yeah, this is Swiss franc strength. The euro is weak. It has nothing at the minute. The euro is basically sitting there waiting for other currencies to push it around. You can see how the Swissy does that. very nicely on this one. So we're just making new highs on the S&P on this 5-minute candle. NAS is retracing. Big rejection there. Load of sellers just come in. Yeah. There's a lot of rejection to longs. Pretty sure the bears are going to be in control today. I'm just going to protect this position. I've only got the one on at the minute, so I don't really want to just go into drawdown on it. I've got a feeling we're going to dump today. Drift. What do you mean by then so excited? What was exciting? You got excited about the S&P breaking out? Still might go. NAS is looking heavy though. I mean, there's no buyers on the NAS at the minute. It's really tempting to short it. I just never short the S&P. We may well just be sitting in this opening range, probably within the London session until 3 o'clock till we get the news on PMI. So I got the Asian high, the London high, which we literally have just tapped into. And London lows down there. But so far we've had some price action has been very, very organized. There's no gaps gone in at the moment. There's no high volume that hasn't been traded both directions. It's just very orderly, isn't it? Orderly and non-directional. Very nice rejection wicks on the S&P. So if you want to take this as a short, obviously you could trade it on any time frame you like, really, but obviously the lower the time frame, the quicker you're going to get in, the more signals are going to fail. We're just about to get a reversal alert though on the 1 minute chart. 5 minute reversal will be somewhere around Asian midline. Sorry, London midline. Got a feeling it's going to be one of those sessions. Sideways. Has anybody here traded Renko charts in the past? just out of interest. Actually traded them. Obviously, most people know what Renkos are. Has anybody actually tried to trade them on any time frame? I suppose they're not time related, so. I've been studying up on Renko basically over the Christmas period. Obviously, when I'm not trading, I'm reading about trading. Not addicted or anything. But I've been developing a Renko-based strategy, or looking into Renko-based strategy, not really developing my own, just reading up for longer-term strategies, basically, swing trading. But I like the look of some of the strategies that I've found so far. Just trying to diversify my portfolio, really, and the strategies that I use to make sure I've got good diversification. And I've not really investigated Renko to any detail in the past. So I bought a couple of books, basically, and been reading up. So I'll keep you updated on that, but I might try and do some Renko. I'm just trying to establish the best block size for Renko. The main problem I think with it is most people tend to use either a fixed size or an ADR based Renko. And the problem with ADR based Renkos, which seem to be very popular, or ATR, average two range or average daily range, is they repaint. So as your average daily range repaints changes, the Renko blocks repaint, which makes it very, very difficult for backtesting. So I'm just doing a bit of research into ways to use fixed percentage block sizes. But again, percentage block sizes change as well. So for example, where we are now in the S&P, 1% of the S&P will be 51.8. As the S&P drops or the price increases or decreases, sorry, not 51, that's the ADR, 1% of it will be 48. So as this drops, you know, when we get down to 47s, 1% of it will be 47. So I'm just trying to find a way to kind of standardize Renko for back testing, because a lot of the indicators I found out there don't use anything but either ATR or allow you to do a fixed block size. So it might be the case that that's what it's got to be, but Renko is not supported well in MT4 at all, Andy, no. Which is the other problem I'm finding. Renko is well supported on NinjaTrader, which is what I use for my futures trading. But MT4, you have to use offline charts. Well, I say offline charts. They're offline charts, but they are live. I've got no movement. We're still within this 15-minute opening range. We haven't gone anywhere yet. S&P or NASDAQ, still in the opening range. So I'm just looking, and there's quite a few indicators around for Renko, but as I say, they all seem to have flaws. So I may well code my own, but I'm still hunting around at the minute, just trying to find something decent that works. I think I may have found one actually, a free one that's pretty good. But I need to do some testing. I think what I'm going to end up doing, from what I've found so far, is taking an ADR. Is going to use the ADR dash, and just use whatever. But on a Monday, I'll reset all the block sizes to the ADR, because when I've done my ADR research in the past, every week the ADR will never change by more than sort of 5% maximum. So as long as you're updating this on a weekly basis, you're not going to be too far out. So that's what I'm planning to do, but I need to do some testing on it. But Renko is very good. It's what they call a noiseless chart. Renko, people assume Renko is a trading system or a trading strategy. It's not. It's a charting system. Renko is a way of plotting price without using time. So it's literally plotting when price moves rather than a time-based, which has massive advantages because you will never see these consolidations. Things like this, you'll never see it because it just doesn't exist on a Renko chart. So it has two psychological benefits. First of all, it doesn't scare you out of trades because you will find Renko blocks are very consistent in their movement. So if you've got a Renko block which is measuring 0.5% increase on an instrument, that thing might go up 5% and all you'll see is 10 Renko blocks going north. So you'll never see a Renko block go against you, therefore you'll never get out of the trade. So when you do get into a winner, your winners run for way, way longer than they would with any candlestick pattern chart. And the other advantage of them is they are very, very, very easy to read from a price action perspective for double tops, double bottoms, and market structure. A chimp could read market structure off of Renko. So it's, but I'm looking at it for longer term. Short term, from what I've seen, it can get you into lots of trouble. But anything, sort of 0.5% to 1%, or half of an ADR maybe to an ADR for a Renko block is probably pretty good. NAS just broken out to the lows. So it looks like we are getting our flush today. So it's the first initial move down. S&P is probably going to give us our reversal alert on M5 in a minute. So this this area here, where we had this move out of this consolidation, has never been tested. Didn't quite get down to it here. So this is the level I'd be looking at initially on the hourly. Why did you not draw? So somewhere around there. Which is around about 125 ADR. Quite easy to get down there today. If it's going to push. So this block of buyers at the moment is rejecting. But again, this is all consolidation. All these gaps, all these gaps in here, these are all actually part of 2-day consolidation where we've gone anywhere. So not necessarily going to be strong buyers in here. So very easy for the market to break through that. If it breaks through these two areas here, there's not really anything to stop it. So we should be coming down to the lows. So any of you that got your shorts on could well do okay today. S&P's fighting though. It's going to be a choppy day. It's going to be one of those horrible, horrible, horrible choppy days until the news. Got 8 minutes. Tomasini's done 250 profit on the NAS. Nice one. Very good. There's nothing wrong with shorting either of these. As long as you're using a stop, decent risk reward, nothing wrong with shorting S&P and NAS. It's just I like to scale in for the big moves, which don't tend to be down. We only get pullbacks, unless it's COVID, obviously. Somebody said to me the other day they were testing the EA, and it worked in all years apart from 2020. And yeah, international disasters tend to screw up pretty much every strategy out there. So yeah, that was COVID. But as you can see, other than that, we very rarely retest beyond the 200 moving average. We often don't get to it, but every now and again we do. We have a weak market, but at the moment we're in a very, very strong bull market. So, but like everything, these things come to an end. So S&P, we are still stuck in the initial 15-minute opening range. Not gone anywhere. NAS, we have broken to the downside, but we've got this block of buyers here holding price up at the minute. Though it looks like it's about to pierce through. S&P's fighting still. It's good that we've still got buyers. I was expecting it to dump a lot quicker than this today. Big rejection out of this this area on the NAS. So again, this block here, this gap, is from this consolidation here. So volume profile again would look like that here. And then they pushed back out of it. So this is where all the buyers decided to jump in, here and here. And if they want to continue going long, they will defend this area. And also the sellers, when they get down to these areas, know there's a load of volume here. So they will tend to exit their short positions when they get to these gaps, because they know there's a load of buying happened at this area. So if you're in short and you've got a profit, you'll quite often take your positions off as you get to these gaps, which is where the volume is. And obviously, as you take your position off, you become a buyer. So you add to the buying pressure, which is why these gaps tend to work so well and act as good support levels. Or resistance, going the other way. It's a good example there, actually. Just reject. So a load of sellers entered the market. They took the market long. Sellers stepped in, rejected. That's more of a overnight gap. Okay, we've got 3 minutes to the news. See if that can kickstart some price action. At the moment we're going nowhere. Swiss yen next down. Yeah, just about to get a reverse alert on M5 on Swissy. So 200 ADR. This is coming down. Pick your target really. that is obviously the main area, but it could well just be a complete reversal from here. We could see some yen strength piling in. What's the others doing? Yeah, pound yen, nice bearish engulfing on M15. Not quite got a reversal alert, but we're just about to get one. So all these yens are weakening dramatically ahead of the news. Just be careful. The market's obviously rolling over 1 minute ahead of news. There is every possibility that they're pushing the market down to entice shorts. Everyone's seeing this now and going, yep, bearish, we're jumping on board. And then news will reverse it. So just be a little careful. It could be a trap. But all the yens doing the same thing. So yen strength starting to show finally. So if you're in any of those, good luck. Got 1 minute to the news. I'm just going to stick the Dixie up just so we can see what happens to the US dollar. This is PMI. Pound yen, got RSI alert on as well. Okay, so Dixie's thinking of dumping. Nas is pushing lower. Trying anyway. So it's all negative news. So ISM, PMI, negative. Job openings, negative. Doesn't mean the US dollar's coming down. Just means it's an unexpected. It's not unexpected. It's worse than expected. We were expecting it to be bad, but it's worse than expected. So you would expect a negative reaction on the US dollar. It doesn't seem to be doing an awful lot though at the moment. Aussie yen hit 150 ADR. That's reversed. Okay, so we have got a reversal alert on the Swiss yen. CAD yen is miles away. We didn't make a new high on that one. Nasdaq's coming down very nicely. Didn't get the reverse alert on the pound yen, unfortunately. So we are in a support rectangle at the minute. New Zealand dollar yen has just spiked back to the upside. US dollar yen's gapped. Blimey. Okay, so that will likely get filled. Pulled straight back down into support. So they are starting to roll over, but like I said, just be wary. When you see this sort of price action coming in ahead of news, it's either a leak or they're enticing shorts and they're going to continue with the longs. So S&P is probably coming down now. Yeah. So Nas is selling off nicely. Nice little dump. Tomasini, did you get out of your shorts? Kicking yourself if you did. Profit's profit though. So one thing you've got to remember about the market, when it's moving and it's always moving. So you're never going to catch the top, you're never going to catch the bottom. As long as you take something out of the middle, that's all that's important. So many times we get angry and revenge trade because we take a short, get in short here, pulls back, you exit your position, you make a nice profit, and then it dumps like that. You get cross. So what you end up doing then is trying to long the market and fade that move to try and get your money back because you think the market owes you that. The market doesn't owe you anything. You got out with a profit. Take it, run. Market's always going to be moving. So you're always going to see price move after you exit your position, which is why it's important to look at your positions every week. So drag your trades onto your chart every week. Have a look at them. See what happened after you got out of your positions so you can see whether you got out the right point or whether you got out the wrong point. If you hit TP, you hit TP, that's brilliant. It's exactly what you want to do, isn't it? If you're playing risk reward, that's perfect. Okay, so S&P, we've just tried to make new 15-minute lows. Haven't managed it yet. So potentially getting a reversal alert forming on S&P M15. If we get the reversal alert, I'll probably exit this position, just take it based on what the NAS is doing. But I'm surprised the S&P isn't pushing as hard. It just seems still very, very bullish. Okay, so that yen has been supported. None of these yens, CAD yen's kind of gone. The rest of these yens are still sitting bullish. Okay, S&P looks like it's breaking down. Just going to take that position off. Put it in the bank. So I'm going to look to get in on a retest this reversal alert here. So on M15, if we can pull back and retest, I would assume we'll get down to here, but if we can retest this area, look to get into my first initial long, assuming we are going to continue and pull back. So bank 0.4% on that one. US dollars just found support, these buyers here. So this area here, again, if you're looking at volume, all the volume for today will have been before this propulsion candle here. So at the moment we're sitting back in today's volume, which is here. So this is where all the business is being conducted today. Then we pushed out with this candle here, made this gap. And this candle here, which is where we started this move. And buyers supporting price out of that gap. Got to be so careful of any big price action you see just ahead of news. So often it's just a fake out. I want everybody to get in short. or long just before the news, and then they just basically take your stops. So Swiss yen's really nice rejection wicks on M15. So we are there is a nice lot of rejection here, but we are stuck for the last hour, having gone nowhere. So we are up at 200% ADR there. That's a big move. Still not going anywhere there yet. S&P is rejecting as well. NAS is still pushing down though, so there is still a lot of weakness in the tech sector today. Potential M forming there. Yeah, very different charts on the S&P and the NAS today. Confusion in the market. So this is really nice for scalpers. This setup here, where we've just completed a fill on a previous gap, and we can see that there's buying pressure coming in. It's got lots of wicks to the downside, and you've got a big propulsion candle that takes you there. Quite often what you'll find is that the price will now move back up again and retest this wick, and just make sure that it's completed trading in both directions in that area there. So you quite often find a push back up into there and then a continuation move to the downside. So for scalpers on low time frames, these are quite often nice little pops that you can take. But there's a big gap put in there, which at some point we will come up and retest. Still no movement on the S&P. So this is the initial opening range. We're still inside it, not gone anywhere yet. There's a good example of that, what I just sort of said with that wick test here. Putting back up and shorting out from it. There's the gap fill on US dollar yen. US dollar index still coming down. NAS is pushing down hard now as well. There we go. S&P is coming with it. Yep. Pound US dollar hit ADR. So all these moves, obviously, the US dollar is tanking today, by the looks of things. We've got FOMC tomorrow, ahead of services PMI on Thursday, and obviously non-farm on Friday. So anything that continues to push this week on RSI against the US dollar is going to be a really nice short opportunity potentially for Friday for non-farm payroll. So if we get negative figures tomorrow and it continues to push the market down, and FOMC we get a negative reaction as well, we'll be looking for completely the opposite longs on Friday for US dollar. So could be really nice pushes down on the US dollar coming. So anything that's pushing hard against the US dollar, that it gets extended on the RSI 4 hour. I like US dollar yen, but that's to do with the yen. Will be really nice shorting opportunities. So at the moment we've only got US dollar yen is the only thing extended on the US dollar at the moment. On the hourlies, still not got nothing there yet. But if we get a continuation downward move on the US dollar this afternoon, we'll have some things getting lit up on the hourly RSI extensions. Trying to see what's nothing getting close. Pound US potentially. Yes, if pound US can push up back out of these highs and get extended by sort of New York session tomorrow. US dollar CAD's just got ADR as well. Be nice reversal opportunities for the end of the week. So it looks like we're going to have a US dollar down week. S&P still unsure. Nas is flying. Tomasini's got on his next short. I tell you what, every time I short the S&P or the Nas, it goes horribly wrong. Because I always try to go in line with market sentiment. And market sentiment is always long on the S&P. And it doesn't matter how extended this thing gets. When it starts to roll over and I try and short it, like this one here. When it starts to roll over and I try and short it, like that, it does that. And I just end up getting the wrong side. So I will long it till the cows come home. And I don't care if I go into 20% drawdown doing that. That is going to happen. So it's the only reason I don't short it. Just because I get burnt. So many times you get burnt, you learn. We're still struggling at this 15-minute range on the S&P. Really doesn't want to break and hold this opening range low. It looks like it might do here. Just started this 15-minute candle though. So NAS is dropping nicely. So when the NAS gets down into this area here, potentially be interested in longs. Just assuming that we will get the pullback, so I'll be out on the pullback. Got to get down there first though. For those of you that were here before last year when I was doing the strategy quant EAs, creating those, got the these are the two accounts that I'm running for the strategy. I can't even say it. Strategy quant strategies that I created. So this was a 10k account. Started. When did we start this? First trade was 29th of November. So it's trading for the whole of December, basically. So it's a month old. So made 10% growth last month. This is just part of the strategies because I can't put all the strategies on one MT4 because I've got over 100 of them. But what I'm finding with these strategies is we have grinding losses and then we have big days like it looks like at the moment today. Shorting the NASDAQ as well, look, very rare. So yeah, this is going pretty well. I'm forward testing this for 3 months. So I'm just going to give all the strategies a forward test for 3 months in total. There's a second half of my strategies I've put onto this one here. This was only started yesterday. I basically turned it on in the break. So so this hasn't had much time to run yet, but this is running Euro US dollar and pound US dollar only, I think. There might be some US dollar Swisses in there. Oh, gold, yeah. There's a couple of gold, quite a few gold strategies I developed as well. So there's a load of strategies on forward test at the moment. So I'll let you know how these get on. But so far, month one was just over 10% growth, which is good. So if it can crack 10% a month, I'd be more than happy with that. It's 100% increase a year, fully automated. But I want to give all the strategies a 3-month proper forward test, and then look at the strategies and weed out the ones that didn't really work. So there's loads of those running at the moment. But yeah, but it's going pretty well as a starter. So did any of you guys that were doing strategy quant before Christmas with me, have you got any strategies running live yet? Don't know if any of you are in here actually. But they're not doing bad. But I will update on that as and when. New Zealand dollar yen 150 ADR. So it doesn't look like that New Zealand, like the yen, is turning anytime soon. Still going. Still pushing. Okay, so US dollar's coming down. New Zealand dollar, pound pushed up again. Euro's pushed again. So we've still got considerable yen weakness at the minute. US dollar, obviously, though, you can see is very weak on the back of that news. So shorts on US dollar at the minute. David, you got some strategies running live, yeah? Good. I have to admit, I haven't done a lot with it since before Christmas. I've just had that really intense 2 to 3 weeks of strategy development and testing, and generated well over 100 strategies. So I've got more than enough to be going on with. I don't want to continuously generate strategies because I just think what you'll end up with is just hundreds and hundreds, and an absolute logistical nightmare to manage. So testing some Aussie dollar CADs in a Robo Forex account. Yeah, cent account's the best way forward. If you're not stupid like me, just jump in with both feet. Euro yen 150 ADR. So don't get in the front of these yens today. We have got some weakness. So think about pattern recognition and your M's. Yeah. So at the moment we're putting in an uneven M formation on Euro Yen. So potentially they have enticed shorts. Shorts have put their stops above the London high. Those shorts have just been taken out. So potentially this is the start of a second leg move down. Euro Yen, out of all the yens at the moment that are massively extended, Pound Yen and Euro Yen would be my picks. Pound Yen just purely based on the fact that we've had so much strength with zero profit take. And Euro Yen just because the Euro's down on its backside. So when we do get a bit of yen strength coming through, this thing's just going to tank. So both of these looking good. Pound Yen and Euro Yen for shorts. But as I say, still no signs of weakness. Still no reversal alerts. M5, just, don't get in unless you've got confirmation. You had one there, you just saw it just repainted there. We did get one on that move out the back of London, but it's pushing back up again. So new market structure, high, new support block in place. Okay, S&P still not broken out of this 15-minute range. So it's the opening range. Trying really hard. We've got 5 minutes left on this candle. Looks like it wants to. Obviously Nasdaq's done very well, but really struggling. S&P to drop. A lot of buying pressure. But so with where we had this initial move up to the new highs, we put in the new high here. This was the first propulsion candle move down, and this was obviously the gap created by that move. And you see we came back up, we retested it once, we've retested it twice, and it's pushing away. So it does look like it's going to follow NAS and short. So those were your entries if you wanted to take them as shorts, but not really really my cup of tea today. Too early to tell. Still not guaranteed we're going to get a reversal alert here either. It's looking like a beautiful M though. I mean, it doesn't get much cleaner than that. But then you're running straight in to a load of buyers. As soon as you get that alert, you've got a load of buying pressure sitting there. It's a difficult day. Apart from the NAS. If you flipped a coin on the NAS and went short, well done. Like my EA did. I think that's the first time my EA has actually shorted the NAS. Just did not take shorts. Very rarely in testing. So big flush. So it looks like S&P is going to get the break finally on M15. So we're running into this this cluster here of orders. So if we can break down through these lows, that should start the drop on the S&P. New Zealand dollar, US dollar. It's just hit ADR off the back of that US dollar news. So just hit to the highs, running up into Asian support. Got loads of support here. Resistance rather. But again, potential move to the upside on the US dollar this week. Move to the downside on the US dollar this week, which will obviously push everything up against the US dollar. So it's kind of cementing more for me this week. I do not want to be getting into any positions. really, until we can figure out what's going on with these yen moves. Always worries me when there's so much flooding out of the yen. We do tend to get US dollar push, and the fact that US dollar is going down is kind of making me think even more FOMC or non-farm this week is going to be a big rocket for the US dollar. So I just want to find some areas to sort of start to scale in on US dollar pairs. There's nothing at the minute anyway. S&P is rejecting again. It's not letting go, is it? It does not want to go down the S&P. It's very bullish. Okay, so we've just taken out that gap. Closed above. So we are in a retest situation at the moment on M5. So we've had the reversal alert. Here, we're retesting. So if we break back down below this level, we'll get the retest arrow, and that'll be a sign of shorting. But at the moment, we're looking like we want to go for those highs again. Choppy day. New York stuck within the London range. Always hideous trading conditions. Again, we're still sitting in this accumulation phase at the minute. So again, if you had a volume profile on here, you'd just be watching this building like that, with a little bit of a bump down there. So no directional bias either way at the moment. Aussie US ADR, that will hit to the upside. Again, coming up into these gaps. Nice looking shorting opportunity. But if you want to start scaling, and I'll be waiting for 4 hour and hourly extensions. Really, really nice hourly extensions on the pound yen now. I think it's shot. Literally the only breathers we've had on the pound yen today has been that one we just saw. That's it. This thing hasn't breathed all day, and it's still pushing. Really worth monitoring on M5. Next reversal alert on that. Loads and loads of propulsion targets to the downside to aim for as well. It's really nice. It's a short. But just do not want to step in front of a steam train though. Not today. It's just chopped today on the S&P. So Nasdaq's the only thing we've got movement on today. To the downside, which is what I was expecting to happen, but I was expecting the S&P to follow, and it hasn't. So I'm just going to sit on my hands today and wait for some movement to the downside. So obviously I've taken that position off from today. From when did I get into that? Just before New Year, wasn't it? Where did I get into it there? So I got in here. I've taken that one off. So I've put a new buy limit in. So there was my entry. I've got it up here. So I put a new buy limit in here, which is sitting on top of this propulsion candle on the hourly. So if we can get back down to here, that'll be my first position. So the logic behind this is basically we're in an accumulation here. And what I'll be doing is one of two things is going to happen. We're either going to pull back into here, find some buying power and go, or probably more likely we're going to do a deeper pullback on this move, in which case I'll find areas of support, probably not this deep, but somewhere down here, looking to long it when it's gathered some steam. But you know, looking at these highs as well here, we've got very, very strong resistance, which will typically turn into support. You can see it turned into support there. Didn't quite reach it, but so that will be a good, decent level of support to get into an additional position. If it cracks that, we'll be getting down to the 24. If it cracks that, we'll be coming down to the 72. By the time we get down to here, I'll have a nice, decent position built, ready for the move to the upside. But doesn't look like we're going to get it today. Very weak today in the S&P. Just stuck in chop. So there's a nice retest of that reversal alert. So we've had the reversal alert and the retest. So if you want to trade retests, this is the entry right now. So when this candle closes, we'll get the retest arrow. That's your signal to go short. Got to get it first though. At the moment, it's just not looking like it wants to, is it? NAS is still dropping. We're just getting down into this close to ADR now on the NAS. So if we can take out the liquidity below these lows somewhere down here, and we get some bullish price action coming out of that, that'll be a very nice little long to take intraday. Whenever you're trading anything, whether it's scalping, swing trading, whatever, always be thinking, what's my next move? What is likely to happen? And think of the what ifs. And as long as you've got that what if scenario in your head, you won't go far wrong. So at the moment, the what if scenario is, at the minute, everybody that went long there has got their stop under here. And also we had an accumulation with big buying pressure here. So right here, there's potentially a load of buy orders sitting. Everybody that went long there has got their stop there. So there's a load of orders and a load of volume sitting here as well. So when price gets down into this area, it's going to do one or two things. A, gather momentum and go for the new high. B, pull back and continue on a downward move. Either way, if you get in here, you can get out on the pullback or you're going long. So that's the what if scenario, and this is why that is an area of interest for me, because if it does get down to there, by the time it gets there, it's going to be very tired and it's going to need to do a pullback and a profit take. So everybody that's selling here has got to get out of their positions, which means they've got to buy. So if this continues all the way down here in one move, you're going to get these big flush moves, and at some point you will get that pullback. Yeah. So buying here is a mean reversion. This is a mean reversion trade. Potentially it could be a trend trade, but at the moment be treating it like mean reversion. So just looking for that kick and pullback. So that's ADR hit. So it's hit its average daily range. S&P is about to break on M15 to the downside. Putting in a double bottom on 5-minute chart. Tomasini's done another 250 profit on the NAS. Very nice. Me too. Well, that's kind of cheating. I'm not doing that, so yeah, S&P, we're just about to get that market structure break to the downside now. So this is the retest on M5. We've got 2 minutes. No, we haven't. Yeah, we've got 2 minutes left on this 5-minute candle. again today, just like all the others, ADR normally I look at as very, very nice reversal areas for pullbacks. So if we get down to ADRs, these are great levels to start looking for mean reversion trades on indices, because you will tend to get the daily move faded back, especially when you've got propulsion candles like this. But today, like all these others, when you get things like coming out of market lapses like Christmas, or after big news, or after long consolidation periods, you tend to get these huge ADRs put in where the market is just dumping order after order after order. They've built their positions and now they're profiting from those positions. So you'll quite often see these massive ADRs going in. So they are much more risky at this time of year, which is why, as I say, against these yen pairs as well, especially, it's worth sitting on your hands and watching. You will see the market start to slow as it is at the moment, and those are the reversal alerts you want to be taking. You see that the market momentum is just sort of petering out. Sellers are starting to come in. This is profit taking starting to happen, and then the reversal will kick in from there. So it's just patience, waiting. So S&P, there you go. There's a reversal alert, retest. So we've had the reversal and the retest of the reversal. So that's your market structure. So pull back, short from there, if you're inclined to short the S&P, which I'm not. So just a waiting day for me. NAS, obviously, we are almost back down at that area of interest on the hourly chart. Not quite got there yet. So be a nice area to take along if we can get down to there. Failing that as well, backup plans. Yeah. If we get in here looking for a long retracement, and what we get is another whacking great push down. This is the next area of interest where I would be 175 ADR. Be looking for reversal alerts down here to take a second position. Average would be here. So we're just looking for a small quarter to a third of an ADR retracement to get us out of the position. Not got there yet though. Still think this has got more downside on it. There's a great example of a sort of wick fill test there. So this level here. So pulled down, price pulled back up directly into this area and then rejected. So this is the gap here. Nice rejection to the downside. Still going down. 225 ADR on Swiss yen. Wow. That is a move and a half. Crikey. We have days like this, and it's the week after where we start to make all our money. So start scaling into these positions soon. And if you get that continuation push after today, so the Swiss yen needs again look at where it's going. Needs to come out to the weekly. Wow, this is a massive all-time high for the Swiss yen. So at some point, this is just going to roll over and collapse. So if you start scaling into a position when it's 225% of its normal ADR as an initial position, and it continues to push, and you get multiple days of push, multiple scale-ins, and then wait for that drop, and that's where you make all your money. And when this comes down, it'll come down like an elevator shaft. When that yen starts to power up, but say until we get any signs of weakness, you don't want to get into any of these yens until we get some reversal alerts. It's just it's too strong at the minute, way too strong. Okay, so S&P's coming down nicely. We're in this buy zone at the moment. Okay, so NAS has hit that zone as well. In the hourly. So this is the first area I'd start looking for strength to be coming in. So we'll see if there's any buyers in here. So on lower time frames, start looking for signs of rejection. You're not going to get a reversal alert on this because it's just been way too strong. You could switch down to the minute. So your minute reversal will be here. 16,323. Just need to be, obviously, don't trade minute charts very often, but just got to be aware potential support resistance. There's not a lot here. Really not a lot of decent potential resistance areas apart from there. So we've got a nice 3-bar reversal going in at the moment on the 1 minute chart. So potentially good long. What I'll do, let's scale in with a small starter entry there. Just see if we can trade it back up into that gap. Quick scalp. US is bouncing nicely off of the gap as well. So we've just taken liquidity here. Okay, so anybody that's entered long from this double bottom here. Euro odd has just hit ADR as well. Anybody that's entered long from here has got liquidity here where all these buyers are. So it's just rejecting off of that area now. So M5, you can see this propulsion candle here, where we've got this little gap. A lot of strong buying there, a lot of strong selling there rather. We didn't get any buying in that area at all on the 1 minute chart. That's the top of that range there on the M5. So the next area of interest for me is down here. $200 CAD yen. Jeez. It's big moves. You'd be forever moving a fib on this thing. US dollar CAD 125 ADR. That PMI has really not helped the US dollar at all. Okay, still pushing. It's worth getting into these yens later today. If you, there's a really strong possibility that we'll get some yen strength during the Asian session, because the Asia's going to wake up and go, what the hell? And they will be looking for pullback profit take moves when the market gets passed over. So there's a good possibility of pullbacks during the Asian session on these yens. And if they do continue to push, I mean, you know, if they continue to push, we are going to be super, super extended, aren't we? So look at this particular move here. Yeah, if you get in short when you're that extended on the RSI and you get a continuation push like that, there's only one thing the market can do is take profit. So that's where you'll get out. Pound yen hit 200 ADR as well. That is an absolute Christmas tree we've got building up here. Look. Obviously, we're going to get more alerts on the hourlies and the 4 hourlies as well. So keep an eye on the RSI dashboards. Big moves. Oh, it's very, very, very tempting to get into these yens. I'm trying to sit on my hands so desperately. Okay, so got a nice rejection showing out of this this buy area here. Now it's not really going anywhere. I kind of want the Nasdaq to drop. I really want my my EAs to do well. So I kind of would like this to drop until these take profit. I don't know where their TPs are. But if we can do that, there's these NAS trades. So we're TPing at 162.53. So 253 and 267. 253 and 267. Not far off, look. Somewhere around 125. Yeah, so if we can just get a little bit more of a push, another 200 pips to the downside on the NAS, just to hit the TP on those, that'd be lovely. And then if we can just turn around and pop up and hit that TP, that would make my day. There's nothing worse than seeing an EA that close to a TP and not hitting the button. But hey, I'm gonna let it run. Gonna be brave. Does look like NAS is rejecting down here. S&P struggling a little bit as well. Needs a profit take. People need to take profit on these moves, even if it's a little tiny one. Some point we're going to get a pop. Okay, US is fighting back a little bit as well. We've just got the reversal alert on M5 on that. It's better to look at M15 really when you've got this much strength. It's miles away. Yeah. There goes the NAS. Popping down. 162.53, 162.67. Why are they not lit up green? So I'm just going to get these. Normally we would have these lit up green, wouldn't we? Interesting. Okay, so yen again, still pushing on these. There you go. One of those has hit TP on the Nasdaq. That one's nearly there. That'd be very nice if we can just pop back down a little bit more on the Nas. Get to the bottom of this this gap, and then we'll have a nice little reversal. It'll be very nice. Yeah, yen's still going strong. Up to you guys on these this afternoon. These yens, very, very difficult to call what's going to happen with these yens. We've got such a weak yen at the minute. But from an RSI extension point of view, they are all now absolutely shot across multiple time frames. Or they are getting shot on multiple time frames. So there's going to be a profit take move at some point on this. The market can't sustain this forever. It has to take profit. So, you know, when you get to the 175, 200s, they are prime spots to take mean reversion trades. But first day back, just don't know. Just don't know. I'd rather keep my capital in my bank. Yeah, this NAS is crazy. It's very unusual to see the NAS go this much harder and faster than the S&P. But again, you know, from an extension perspective, if you look out on any time frame, doesn't really matter, but M15, yeah, whenever we get down to these levels, yeah, if we're breaking the 20 level, sub 20s, yeah, worst case scenario, you get 1 or 2 day push before the retracement comes in. You get another day push, retracement. So these are levels you want to start scaling in for longs. Yeah, and if we do get a continuation down, and I'm in 3 positions long, when that move happens, check out. So very, very nice extensions on the RSI at the minute. Good moves. But equally, I'll take the scalp if it wants to pull back today. But this area down here, be looking to enter a second position if we get down to 175 today. Euro Swiss 125. Wow, Euro Swiss. Who was in Euro? Someone was in Euro Swiss long before Christmas. Was that? Who was that? Was that Peter? I think it was Peter. That would have been somewhere around that area here. Wow. Got a reversal. So market structure at the moment. There is that potential, but it's the euro. So difficult to long the euro. It's kind of like the euro's taken over the S&P in reverse now. Just don't want to do anything but short it. Okay, so we've just broken down through that area on the hourly. On the NAS, that's a big old hourly for the NAS. Wow. That's a big sell-off. So annoying when you call it short and it goes short, but I just can't short this thing. Like I say, every time I short it, I get into trouble. Aussie yen, RSI high on the hourly. So up to 70 on the hourly. So there's a fair few of these yens now on the hourly time frame getting very, very, very nicely extended for reversals. Aussie dollar, US dollar yen, obviously we were extended up to 80. We've pulled back now. 4 hours. Just keep an eye on the 4-hour charts as well. There's going to be some further movement on that as well. That's a big, big, big candle for the NAS. So this is this day we had last week, just before Christmas, where we had that massive NAS sell-off. It was a 3 ADR day. Then we had a rest, and then a reversal day before the push. So it looks like we're having a similar sort of thing happening at the moment. So best plan, looking to scale in on the pullback, and then we'll exit as we get that push. Okay, got some buying coming in on the S&P and the NAS at the minute at 150 ADR. Okay, so we're hitting this this volume area here. Okay, so this is the area just before, so we had a nice consolidation there just before we started this big push, which was a 3-day push. So got some buying pressure coming in here. We got this area here, this gap, this propulsion candle, which was just tested just before that move started. So this is what we're running into. That's why we're getting a little bit of a bounce off the NAS. It's quite old though, so these old ones they do hold, but you tend to find them much less reliable than recent ones. You know, ones from a couple of days ago you tend to get really nice bounces from, but older ones tend to, as you can see here, get flushed straight through quite often. Okay, so got to the first position on the S&P. I have got the EA running on this as well. on the VPS. So the EA is on this one. It's running on the S&P on M15. So if we get continuation pushes down, this will start taking reverse alerts on M15 for me automatically to the long sides. So if we get good strong reversals while I'm asleep, that will be getting in for me. I will set that up on the NAS as well, in case we don't get out of this one today. I think what I might do, should I stick that on M5? No. Okay. So that'll manage now S&P and NAS longs for me automatically. Nice rejection off of that. So we're just down in that second area now on the NAS, on the hourly. No, not sorry, not quite. This is the next area down here. We're in this this nice little volume cluster before the move. So getting a good rejection, decent buying pressure coming here. Might worth taking a second position there. I mean, what am I in? 1%. Yeah, might take a second position there. These are really small starter positions that I'm taking at the minute, so don't mind them being a bit closer together. So you see that's brought my average down nicely now to 16,250, 251. Target the same area on this, up there. So looking for a pullback. So logic here is if we get a pullback and continuation, I get out before the continuation, which takes me into drawdown. And obviously if it goes from there, I'm out anyway. So I don't mind. We're getting to additional positions. If we push down further, the EA will just get me into additional positions further down there. Swiss yen and pound yen are starting to turn. Oh, I just hit buy button by accident there. How easy was that to do? That was a mistake. Or was it? So when you hit an accidental buy, what I actually wanted to do there was I was going for the chart and I went to right click and I actually hit the buy button by accident. Shall I hold that position? I'll tell you what. Where is that position there? Take a little, let's assume we're going to get a little scalp. Just take a little profit on that one. Pound yen. Yeah, turning nicely at the minute. Looks like it's starting anyway. Yeah, nice reversal alert on the pound yen. So we have just run into this buying zone here, this gap and double bottom. So it is hitting some buying pressure. Who would be scaling in up here? I mean, I can only imagine people are chasing. They're not building additional positions here. I would imagine we'll probably push up into a retest and then drop from there on that one. And the Swiss yen's doing the same thing. Just about to get a reversal alert on M5 on this candle. We got 1 minute left on this candle. Just about to get a reversal alert on that. Just keep an eye if you are getting in short on the Asian high. Since the Asian high, we've had nothing but decent market structure put in. So this really is the area you would be looking for a TP. You've got a gap there as well with some buying pressure. So potentially either there or there for an ADR reversal trade on that one. Obviously, there's a high probability we'll get some yen strength starting to come through, and this whole lot could reverse. We could see a nice A-shaped recovery. Yeah, climbing up the stairs, falling down the elevator shaft. Same with all the yens. Pound yen. Euro starting to roll over as well. CAD yen, about to get a reversal alert. Aussie dollar yen, we've got a nice bearish engulfing up there, but reversal alert's far too far away on that one on M15. US dollar yen. Just thinking about it. We've definitely got the reversal and retest there. So, yeah. Just a bit. It's difficult to tell what's going to happen with that one today. US dollar. So it's just a horrible, horrible week. Really, really nice week normally. But first week back being thrust straight into FOMC and non-farm payroll with a bank holiday. It's almost impossible to build positions when you're coming into that much news. There's just no way of telling which way they're going to take it. Like I say, flat is also a position in the market as well as long and short. I'm going to regret that accidental buy. I know I am. It's only a tiny little 2. Nice divergence on 2 minute on NAS. You must be on MT5 if you're trading 2 minute charts. Divergence with what? Can I remind you how to set up the average price indicator on MT4? So that is just called ME. ME break-even line V1. If you Google that, it's in the Telegram group. Actually, if it's not in the Telegram group, I'll put it in the Telegram group now. One sec. ME, where are you? There. Okay, I just start that in the Telegram group. So literally just drag that onto your chart and it will automatically place that orange line when you take. So you see here I've got one position. So as soon as you place one position, it turns it orange. And obviously if you've got 2 positions on or more, it gives you the exact break even for your entire portfolio. Assume you're in the Telegram group. If you're not in the Telegram group, or if there's anybody else that wants it, I'll stick that in the chat. There's the Telegram group. Aussie New Zealand ADR. Wow. It's all happening today. Aussie New Zealand's a choppy mess though, so not really interested in that one. Okay, S&P's showing signs of reversal. NAS is also pulling off the lows, or trying to anyway. Still a lot of bearish strength in the NAS today. Still going. If any of you guys are looking for any of my indicators, like somebody's just asked in the Telegram group about the dashboard, there's links in the pinned message. There's a pinned message in the Telegram group when you get there. All the indicators are in there. Links to all of the indicators. So you can go grab them all from there. So a tiny little profit take on the NAS. Nothing to write home about in a minute. So next area is support and resistance on the NAS. We'll be down here. So if you're planning entries, if you're going to position trade, these areas where we broke out will be potential support resistance zones for taking additional positions, ready for the mean reversion. If we were to get all the way down there without breathing, you pretty much guaranteed you're going to get a V-shaped recovery like that. Yeah. When you get big market moves like this, yeah, with no breath, you tend to get a complete sell-off in the opposite direction. So if we do get a continuation push down on the NAS today, and we get 200, 300 ADR, it's not going to be long. Quite possible first day back. Get some nice rejection wicks to the downside in now on the NAS. So some buying pressure coming in. Let's see if we can hold it. We haven't actually got down into the buy zone yet on the hourly, which is here. So 175 level on ADR is where this move kicked off. Well, rather where the end of day sell-off, or buy-off in this case, happened on that day. Before we went into that accumulation for the next leg up. Nice rejection going in at this level. Lots of buyers coming in. Let's see if we can get a little kick off of this level. So I'm just adjusting my TP on this additional accidental position that I took. If we are going to push up on this from here, we'll be looking for areas to reject from. So this little buy candle here, before this low, if we are going to find some kind of resistance to continue down, we'll be looking for where the last buying pressure was, which would be there. So it makes sense to put TP here. So including the spread when we get up to there, I'll be out of that position. I should really take it off, obviously, but seeing as we've got some decent looking price action down here, might as well leave it in place. Okay, S&P's rejected perfectly off of the gap where I got in. Just going to watch this one. I'll set a TP. What should I go for? 35. What's that? 1%. Just over 1%. So just go for a quick 1%. If it gets up there, I've got a feeling we're just going to continue to sell off. But if we do get a push, I'm just not going to get greedy. I'm just going to take that 1% there. Again, similar sort of thought process on it. Coming up for a retest of the reversal alert. So this is where we got our reversal. So looking for some kind of retest before a continuation down if we are going to push down and put another leg in down. So I'll get out of it there in case we do get another leg down. If not, obviously, and we continue up, then I'm out and I've made money, which is the entire purpose, obviously. But there's no... when this candle closes here, we will get a gap form here. So the gap will be formed when the hourly candle closes from the low of this candle here down to the high of this candle here. So that will be where our gap will form. And you'll quite often find that gaps will fill roughly halfway a lot of the time. So just not getting greedy, just taking the profit when it gets there. Assuming it does, of course. Okay, it's 4:20. I'm going to call it a day there because I think we are kind of losing a bit of momentum at the moment. Probably going to continue to the downside, judging by what the NAS has done today. Look at that 4-hour candle on the NAS. Look at that. It's a monster. So if we do get continuation pushes to the downside, the EA is sitting on M15. And it will take reversal alerts. Obviously, the reversal alerts all the way up there at the moment because we've had nothing but solid down price action. But when we get a new low, some up candles, and we get a bit of consolidation, we'll get a new reversal alert put in. So the EA will jump me into new positions long when we get reversal alerts on M15. So I'm going to let that just handle these longs for me on S&P and NASDAQ. But long term, obviously, on both of these two, we're down at the 24 already on the NAS, on the daily 24. For those that aren't familiar, this is the 72 and the 24 moving averages on the daily, represented on the 4-hour chart as well. So 24 is a good rejection area. We quite often see the bounce off of that. If we don't get the bounce from it, we tend to at least get some price action normally, unless we're going to have some crazy move like we had before Christmas, which you don't see that often. Failing that, obviously, then we'll be looking to scale in down towards the 72 and wait for a pullback. But at some point, we're going to get a pullback, which will get us out of these positions anyway. S&P, I've only got the one position on this at the minute. This has obviously not gone anywhere near as far as the NAS today. So kind of gives me a little bit of an inkling that we might get a pullback on the NAS, potentially back up to here at some point in either today or tomorrow. Either that, or we're going to get the flush on the S&P. But this area here, obviously where you can see they've got the reversal rectangle on the S&P here. Whoops. Wrong chart. Come on, zoom in. So there's the support rectangle from the market reversal alerts indicator. So until we get a breakdown below that, we are still bullish. If we do break that, we'll also be breaking this gap. We'll be looking for some kind of price action around this accumulation point there, and then obviously somewhere back down. But by the time we get down to here, the 24 will be up here, and we'll be looking potentially for a bounce off the 24. So just scaling in, waiting at the minute for these guys to do something. But we're getting a bit late in the day here, 4:30 nearly in the UK. So I'll let the EA take over for me from here and get me into additional positions. I'll be back tomorrow, same time, 8:30 in the morning. I'm doing 8:30 sessions and 2 p.m. sessions now, for those that don't know. The morning sessions are just going to be real overviews. Morning sessions, literally all I'm doing is looking at the RSI extensions. We don't usually have ADR extensions, obviously, that early in the morning, sometimes on the Aussies and sometimes on the Yens, because obviously it's the Asian session that we're waking up to. So we may well get some ADRs, but not normally. So it'd be looking at the RSI extensions and the H4s. But obviously, if you've got the dashboards, you can look at, or the dashboard in this case for RSI, I've just got 2 versions of it running. You can see what's extended, and we'll be looking for mean reversion pullbacks off of these. So quite possibly, by the time we wake up in the morning, this will all be gone, and these will have all played out to some kind of profit for you anyway. So, but yeah, I'm just holding the S&P and the NAS now into tomorrow, unless we get a sell-off, as we quite often do with these guys. Towards the end of day, we will get an end of day sell-off a lot of the time. I say sell-off, end of day movement. I call it a sell-off because most of the time we're pushing, obviously, so it's an end-of-day sell-off. But if we've had a down day, it's an end-of-day push. But we'll have one or the other, quite possibly, a bit later anyway. So I may well get out with some of this profit by the end of the day. So, but I'll leave those running. Okay, so that's it for today. Anything else you need, you can come into the Telegram group. I'm always around in the Telegram group. So if you've got any questions on the indicators, strategy, or anything at all, or the EA, you can always get hold of me in there. And if you've got any questions on anything at all that you want to go through in the live room, tell me in the Telegram group so I can prepare, and I'll go through them in the live room. But obviously, you can ask any questions you like in here. That's the purpose of this place. It's just to ask questions, really, about anything you like. Trading related, obviously. Okay, so yeah, thanks for today, guys. Good luck this afternoon with the rest of the session. If you're getting onto those yens, just be a little bit careful. Don't get in too close together if you're going to get into positions on those yens. Spread them out. Half an ADR at least, I would, just in case. But other than that, I will see you guys tomorrow morning. Have a good evening.